So today is the day after Christmas, and I finally have a minute or two. It'll probably be more than a minute or two to talk to you guys or show you or make a video. I don't even know what you want to call it. I've got a new keyboard rig here that I've had for a couple of weeks, and I've been so excited. I love the Hammond organ. Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted a Hammond organ. I've owned a couple clones in the past, the Roland VK7 and then the VK8. And then, I don't know, it's close to about 10 years ago, I acquired a Hammond B3 with 122. I had the 122 previous to that. But mid-November, it just completely stopped working on me. We'd be in the middle of a song and it would just shut off. And that, along with many other quirks and problems that it's had, it really needs a restoration. So I am very fortunate that I've been able to have this incredible instrument here. And it is the Viscount Soul 273. So they make a little bit smaller one that doesn't have the preset keys and the chorus and the percussion buttons. It's sort of a compact Hammond clone. But this one is set up exactly like a B3. And I'm absolutely in love with it. I played it a week at church, and I didn't have my Leslie yet, the new Leslie, and so I ran to the direct outs, and I used the built-in Leslie simulator, and that worked wonderful. But as soon as the Leslie arrived, and I hooked it up, it was just a match made in heaven. So this is an incredible rig. I am not a virtuoso Hammond organ player. I don't play the bass pedals, so I did not add that to this setup. And some people will say you should have got the pedals, but I don't use the pedals, and I probably would never even in the future ever think about using pedals. So anyway, I am more of a contemporary pop rock sort of keyboard player, and most of you know me as a drummer, so you know that a drummer coming over and playing any kind of keyboards, that's what you guys are dealing with. So, but the Leslie, and I'll show you in a little bit, but it's behind these doors. There's 11-pin cable out of the back of the Viscount, running to the back. It's mic'd up for front of house, and basically, and I've done this with my old Hammond, when I would record, I just swap out the mics that we use for front of house. I would just plug those into my mobile recording rig, and I would track the B3. So I am here today, and I'm going to track a song that's for my loop community producer role. I've got some tracks up there for sale, and I'll be tracking some B3 for that track, and I'll post that up to my YouTube as well, sort of like the B3 with the track and then just the B3 by itself. But anyways, this is just an incredible rig. I'm not used to all the keys working and all the notes working, so that was a little bit, to get used to. But I love the layout. The fit and finish of this Viscount is incredible. And I have to thank the guys up at Craft Music in Wisconsin. They totally hooked me up with this. These aren't something that every music store carries. And I know if anybody's ever been to a Guitar Center, you're not going to find a Hammond clone. It's just a very specialized instrument. So anyway, I purchased this like sight unseen. There's a couple guys I follow on YouTube, and I thank them because they were able to do some demos of this rig hooked up to different Leslies and then just direct. So I had a good understanding of what it was going to sound like. And Hammond does make some clones, but this to me just seemed to be the best one that I heard online. And so when I went up to Craft Music to pick it up, before I picked it up, I sat down at one and I played on it, and I'm very happy with this. And this also has some extra features, which I might not use a lot, but there's a whole effects section, wah pedals, delay, tremolo, all that sorts of good stuff that you can put on the keys. But me, I'm a Hammond guy, so, give me some drawbars, chorus, percussion, and I'll just go to town. Well, I call it going to town. Someone else would probably hear me and say, that's pretty lame. But anyway, I'm going to get to tracking, and I'm going to move the camera around so you guys can see. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to move the camera around and then maybe I can talk you guys through some of the features here. So you've got your upper manual and you've got your lower manual, and that's pretty standard. And you've got your preset keys. So the B flat on the upper, is the first set of drawbars. The B natural is your second set, and you've got your bass pedals, which again, I don't have the pedal board, but you can throw these bass pedals to the lower. You can throw it to the lower manual, which is kind of cool. If you're kind of just doing something and you want to walk a bass line or something, you can throw it down here. And then same thing down here. The B flat down here preset is for these, and the B is for this set of drawbars. And you've got your percussion just like on a regular B3, the soft, normal, fast, slow, the third, the second, and you've also got some knobs up here that the volume of the percussion, which is kind of cool because on a real B3, that percussion volume is, you got to flip the back cover off and you got to get in with a little screwdriver and adjust that. But you got the decay and the sustain to the pedals down there too. So anyhow, and then over here you've got your chorus, vibrato on, and I've always got it to the C3. I've always done that with the Hammonds. You even have a pitch bend, which, you never know when you might need that. I don't know when I would use it, but it's there if I need it. And again, effects section, you got a headphone and you've got the Leslie switch that's attached to the front here. You got your slow, you got your brake, and you got your fast. So, and I wasn't sure if the Leslie 142H would do the brake, but it does. So, we're on the fast. We're gonna go to the brake. So that gives you that really direct, piercing sound that jazz guys use it a lot. Winwood used it a lot on some of the earlier recordings. But anyhow, I mean that's this in a nutshell. There's plenty of videos out there that can tell you how the drawbars work and all that, and the inner workings of a Hammond B3. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So here I am back with this Leslie 142H, which came out about a year and a half ago. And it is the shorter cabinet, so more like a 145. The 142 traditionally was a Leslie that was the shorter cabinet, but it had the 122 amp in it. And so, I don't know if you can see, but the finish on this cabinet is incredible. It looks phenomenal. My other Leslie is so beat up and scratched up and, marks from people putting beverages on the top of it. It's pretty beat up, but this thing is pristine. And I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to look at. And, I'm going to have, I would love to have it out in the sanctuary, but this thing is a beast. It's loud, and just with the style of worship that we do, where we have a quiet stage, this thing just will not work out there. But it works out here great because we mic it up and it goes through the PA, and for recordings and stuff. But it's got the tube amp. I'm going to try to show that down here. It's got the wood rotor with the cloth, and then I'm not going to do it right now, but behind this plate are all the knobs that you can change the fast, slow times, the speed up and ramp times. It's pretty cool that they kind of hide it behind the badge. And then the amp can do 142 style or 147 style. And I'm not quite sure. The 147 style seems to be a little bit brighter. And I'm just used to the 142 because that's what I had. So I've got it on the 142 setting. And it's got the 11-pin connector that goes all the way to the Viscount in the other room. And that controls the fast, the slow, and the stop or the brake. But it also carries the audio signal. And I can remote turn this off from over there. So if I turn the organ off, this will shut down and it kind of go in standby mode. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, that's it. So this is kind of like a little maintenance room back here. I don't know. I'll pan around. But this is just right off our sanctuary. And I've got, I have one sound panel left from another project, and so it's just kind of sitting back here to kind of reduce a little bit of the reflections. But everybody that walks back here for service says, "Man, there's something loud going on back there," and that's this Leslie that's just cranked up. So I love to see people's faces when they walk behind and they don't know that they're going to get a little bit of extra love from the Hammond on the back end of the sanctuary. So, but this is kind of like our a little bit of a storage. We do keep the altar back here that for first service, we roll it off in between services. We got our microphone chargers and in-ear chargers for our singers. And over here, we've got our little bit of a DMX rack for our floor package for our DMX. So our movers that are on the floor and our light bars and anything that's DMX that's on the floor comes through here over... it's like DMX over Ethernet or something. I'm not really a lighting guy, but I just know that the part of the DMX is down here, and then that filters out through the sanctuary. And so I've got these wonderful big doors that go out into the sanctuary, and you can see do not open the doors. And that's basically there because these cables barely fit under these doors. And when somebody opens up the door and starts shredding cables, and then these very expensive Leslie 11-pin cables then have to get replaced, and so that's not great. So if we walk through these doors, you can see that my keyboard rig is right here. So the Nord piano is what I'll play, and the Viscount. And I've got a rack over here. I don't know if you can see it. We can walk over there, but that's basically my rack for my Ableton rig for tracks. So, and again, I'm trying to show you here. I got a MacBook Air, the cheapest MacBook you can get. It's running Ableton, and I've got a little MIDI pad controller that's and basically it functions as start, stop, playback on Ableton. And then 1 through 6 quick keys for songs. So we never really do more than 6 songs in a service. So it works out really nice. I can just push that. And then over here on my piano, I've got the same thing. So if I'm sitting at the piano, looking out at the congregation, I can start the tracks. Or if I'm playing Hammond, I used to have it, this other one over here on top of the Hammond, but I don't know, the Viscount's not as deep as a real B3. So I just put it off to the side, and it works out great. And then in the rack, it's a pretty simple setup, but there is this Focusrite Scarlett. And basically, there's a left and right coming out of there for the tracks, left and right. And then there is a background vocal independent out. And then there's like an auxiliary, which I've got labeled bass, but it could be another instrument. So if somebody doesn't show up on Sunday, like if the bass player doesn't show up, I could fire up the bass track. But pretty much all our tracks we run, I'm not running like a bunch of stems and all that crazy stuff. I just have a left and the right backing track, which I mix down. So Ableton is running no effects, no plugins. It's just basic. It's running WAV files. So it's got a click. That's the other thing. Yeah, we have to have a click out, and then there's a Q-Mix track too that's got my voice in it that guides everybody through everything. So anyway, that's it. And down here, I just got everything those outputs running through a direct box. It just helps in case there's any noise or anything like that. I can ground lift or anything like that. But it's a pretty simple setup. And then we use the P16s, ear monitors, mixers for the band, the guys that are wired in. So I'm wired in, bass player, guitar, drums are wired in. And yeah, pretty simple stuff. I guess. I mean, some people might think it's complicated. But my perch up here is pretty comfortable. I'm trying to think. I'm using the Crewmar long throw volume pedal on the Viscount. And I also have a latched Boss foot switch for the Leslie. Because sometimes if you're doing like prayer music or something, and I'm doing left-hand bass on the Viscount, which I don't do that often, it's hard to flip the Leslie and hold the notes down. So that's how that's working. So anyhow, that's just a quick tour here. And in another video, I'm gonna track this song "Abide," and that's gonna go on my Loop Community producer account page. And I think we're doing it in the key of E. When we did this song, I had a female vocalist that wanted to sing it. And when I kind of went on a Loop Community and stuff, I just noticed that there were no, it was all in guy keys. So anyhow, this is gonna work. Maybe some of you have a female singer that would like to sing in the song and need tracks. So mine are gonna have my live drums on them, and it'll have the Viscount on it, along with the pads and the other stuff that I typically do on my tracks. But hopefully in 2025, I'll get a little bit more into the Loop Community stuff. I've put some up, but I make most of my tracks. So when I'm on Loop Community, I need to do a little bit more investigation of what there's not a lot of. So if I have a track, like Lion in the Lamb, there's probably 8 million versions of that in the same keys as originals and stuff like that. And there's the master tracks and the originals. So nobody really wants my tracks for that. So I've only been trying to upload things that I find that there's not that version on there. So anyhow, I've rambled on long enough, and I'm ready to, I came here today because I wanted to track organ, and I really haven't done that yet. So anyhow, and probably in the next week, I'm going to try to do a tech tour of our church, but I'm going to need a camera person to do that because, as you can probably tell from this video, I'm not very good at the selfie video type stuff. So I'm thinking about doing a tech tour about our lighting, our sound, how we record services, maybe, yeah. I don't know, all the ins and outs, all that good stuff. We're not a crazy tech church here, but we are a decent sized church, and we try to make our experience here as best as we can, and trying not to spend exorbitant amounts of money, just throwing it into different things that we never use. So the stuff that we have, we use all the time. And so I'm very proud of my team. And anyhow, I hope everybody had a great Christmas. And please check out my tracking video on this new Viscount. Thanks for watching.